tracks the...
Okay, good morning and welcome to the WSJM Morning Show video live stream. I'm Ken Lundberg. I'm going to switch one more thing here. And in the studio this morning, we have Team Lancebot. And they have two teams. Sorry, the switches are a little bit sticky. There we go. There. Okay, good. I think I got that. With two teams, Lancebot and Lance B-Bot, which I want to explore that. Why do you guys do that? Why'd you do that? Okay, so a couple of notes for the show. Storytelling strongly encouraged. So tell us your stories. I think it's a really good, engaging way to connect with the audience. And then make friends with these microphones. I can see you're all like standing as far away from them as possible. This is radio, so we have to be up on the microphone. So just bring it to you. And, yep, very good. And so the ideal, yep. And then you can angle it up like that if you want to, just a little bit. Key is not to breathe or spit on it. All right. What did anyone tell you about this? What are you expecting this morning?
I mean, I think it's just going to be like a pretty casual.
Got to be a lot closer to the microphone. There you go.
So I think it's probably going to be just more of like a casual conversation. How have we done this year? What have you been working on?
You were listening earlier. I like that. Okay, very good.
I'm very good with directions.
Excellent. Talk. Lots. No, it is. It's going to be a casual conversation. So it's Robotics Roundup. So we want to know about your robotics and your experience. But I think for me, it's very interesting to understand when you got involved in robotics, how you view your role, what you do. And then, let's see, Catherine Woodard gave me some questions to ask you as well. So hopefully she didn't prep you too much, but we'll have that. And then if you want to thank sponsors or anything along those lines. So, good? Okay. So the head nodding, not going to work on radio. So speak it. You guys are fun. No, that's good. Where are you from? Stevensville?
Yeah, Stevensville.
Okay.
Our team is based out of Lakeshore High School.
Okay, very good. I knew that, but I just wanted to get you guys talking. Doug Washington is the mentor for the team. What do you do when you're not mentoring a robotics team?
Nothing anymore. I retired last year. So
congratulations.
30 years in cybersecurity from AEP.
Oh, wow.
And so now I'm just doing a lot of this in the spring. And the rest of the time, I'm just keeping myself busy with things I've always wanted to do but never had time to. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
What are your hobbies outside?
I like to bake bread.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's a big thing, bread and pizza. I ride bikes.
Okay.
I restore old bikes. So, I'm trying to learn some, things I've never learned, and specifically things that can maybe help the team a little more.
Love that.
So that's where I've been spending my time lately.
When you say bikes, and sorry to get away from robotics for a second, when you say bikes, are you talking about bicycles?
Yes, road bikes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's as advanced as I get.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's cool. That's great. And the bread, do you ever make a gluten-free bread?
I haven't. I don't have a problem with gluten, but
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that do. And so I know enough to make things like that.
So I love making bread, and I used to have a bread machine, and then it fell, and the door fell out. It's a long story. But I make gluten-free bread now. My wife, Stephanie, she has some gluten intolerances. And so gluten bread, when you make it, it's like making cake. It's so good. And it's so easy. Yeah. Anyway, but bread, that's good on you. Okay. We'll talk more about that and other things. I'm interested in the cybersecurity stuff as well, but I want to know all about the robots. We've got to get some news in here from the WSJM newsroom in just a moment, but let's get back to the show, and we'll be right back with more on the WSJM Morning Show.
Robotics.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
Good morning and welcome back to the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. It is Thursday, March 20th. I'm not just checking my phone to see if anyone messaged me. I'm looking at the temperatures right now. We have 34 degrees in Benton Harbor, St. Joseph, South Haven, Dowagiac, New Buffalo, Buchanan, Niles, Basically 34 degrees all across the region and some snowfall creeping in all across the region. So as you get out there for your morning commute or otherwise, you're going to notice some snowfall. And it's a little bit windy out there as well. That's the forecast for today. Cloudy skies, an 80% chance of snow and some wind, a high around 37 degrees today. Northwest winds are going to continue 15 to 25 miles per hour, gusting to 40. Tonight's forecast, mostly clear and cold, a low around 27, northwest to southwest winds, so it's going to be varied a bit, 10 to 20 miles per hour tonight. And then tomorrow, we're going to get partly sunny skies, a high around 53, and southwest winds 15 to 20 miles per hour, gusting up to 30. A chance of rain coming in on Friday night. The weekend forecast, Saturday, it's going to be mostly cloudy again, a 30% chance of rain or snow early in the day, then becoming partly cloudy, high around 37 degrees and a low around 34. Sunday, mostly cloudy, a 50% chance of rain on Sunday, high around 47. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, looking at the same thing, mostly cloudy, a slim chance of rain or snow all of those days, high around 40 degrees, and the low's probably going to be somewhere in the mid to upper 20s, maybe creeping up into the lower 30s. We have Team Lancebot in from Stevensville this morning, Lakeshore High School. So we'll be talking with Logan Bellinger, Cole Miller, Niata Pagna. Did I get that? No, not even close.
It was close.
Okay, give it to me.
Niati.
Excuse me. Thank you. Okay, Niati Pagna. Okay, did I get the last name right?
Yeah.
Okay, close enough. I can hear that. All right. And Doug Washington, that's a tough name to say as well. All right, so we've got Team Lancebot here and Lance Bebot. They are here to talk about their robotics program and the robots that they've been having in the area competitions and where they'll go next. So we'll be speaking with them in just a moment. First, we've got to get some news in from our WSJM newsroom. And in the news this morning, the latest audit of the city of Benton Harbor has come in clean. At their regular meeting this week, CPA Paul Matz with accounting firm Raymond told city commissioners the books for the fiscal year ending in June of 2024 seem to be in good order.
As far as the report that we issued this year, it was the unmodified, clean audit opinion, which is the audit opinion you want to achieve during the audit, that yes, we believe these financial statements are accurately stated in all material respects.
Matz said overall government revenues for the year came out to $18 million, while expenditures were a little bit more than that, $18.3 million. That led to a reduction of their city savings.
The general fund had a current year decrease in fund balance of about $955,000. We're bringing that fund balance at the end of fiscal year 2024 to $4,384,406.
Matt said the utilities fund had an operating loss of about $912,000, although it did receive a great deal of support in grants. In the form of grants, the utilities fund has troubled the city for a few years now, ever since residents stopped paying their water bills during the lead water crisis. And with the crisis now over, most, they say, are paying bills again, and the city has resumed collections. The fund has been gradually recovering. Mayor Marcus Muhammad asked Matz if he saw any sign of cooking the books or red flags during the audit. Matz said he saw nothing of the sort. Benton Harbor City Commissioners have taken action to step up code enforcement in the community. At their meeting this week, the City Commission approved a new fee schedule for violations, and they amended the code of ordinances on buildings. The motion states the city's fees for building permits and other inspections are out of date and not aligned with surrounding municipalities, so they updated those. City Attorney Sarah Seneca wanted residents who were cited for violations to know that they should contact City Hall with any issues rather than just ignoring the notices.
If these tickets go all the way to court, they're often misdemeanor tickets, and if you don't show up for court, you can be arrested. Right now, currently, I'm actually dealing with some people who had tickets in 2020, in 2021. They were picked up on warrants, and they're in court now for tickets that are older.
City Manager Alex Little said there are new stickers for residents who need trash picked up that doesn't fit in their trash bins.
The improved fee schedule regarding refuse pickup and so forth is being implemented. The stickers have been prepared and are available for sale.
Little asked those throwing away a mattress to make sure it's in a mattress cover or bag. The Commission's action on Monday updates the fees charged for things like sign permits at $75, rental registrations now $250, and mowing abatements at $250. The Benton Harbor Department of Public Safety has recently placed a new emphasis on code enforcement to reduce blight around the city. And the new playground at Silver Beach County Park in St. Joseph is beginning to take shape. Berrien County Parks Director Jill Adams tells us the equipment arrived last month, and contractors have been taking advantage of the recent nice weather to install it.
Seeing progress every single day. It's very exciting to see it come together, sort of leap off of the page. It sounds a little corny, but we've only been seeing it in renderings. Now it's physically going up, and you can see it taking shape, and the sidewalks have been poured, and it is really coming along nicely, coming along quickly.
Adams says she's confident the new playground will be open before Memorial Day. The total cost of the project is $1.25 million, with the bulk of that, $850,000, coming from a state Spark grant. The remaining funding was generated through local grants and a public fundraising campaign. That's a look at some of the news that we're covering in the WSJM newsroom. There's more to talk about. We'll get to that soon. We also have Robotics Roundup, and we're going to start that interview right now, as a matter of fact. We have Robotics Roundup is our opportunity to shine a spotlight on science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, and how that all comes together for these wonderful robots put together by teams all throughout Michigan, all throughout our community, all throughout Michigan, all throughout basically the United States and the world. It's all through First Robotics. It's really cool. There's even a movie out right now called Rule Breakers about the team from the girls' team from Afghanistan who went to the world's competition. So it's all the rage, and it basically is the future of a lot of things in our society. So let's talk and introduce Team Lancebot from Lakeshore High School. And we'll start over here with Logan. Logan, just introduce yourself and give your team role and how long you've been involved in robotics, please.
So I am Logan Ballinger. I am one of the team leads for our software team. And I've been involved in just the high school version of First. This is my third year, but I also took part in 2 years of the elementary school equivalent called FLL, or First Lego League. And then I was also a part of the middle school version, FTC.
Okay, so you're a veteran. Very good. All right, thank you. Next.
I'm Cole Miller. I'm the build team sub-lead. I've been on the high school team for 3 years. I was part of FLL for 1 year, and then I did FTC for 1 year.
Okay, thank you. Very good. Niti?
I'm Niti Pagda. I've been working in the software team. I was also an operator for B team for driving the robot. I've been part of high school robotics for 2 years, middle school FTC for around 2 to 3 years, and I've also done elementary with Logan.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
And I'm Doug Washington, and I'm a mentor on the team. I help out with the software team, keeping the laptops going and things like that, and the networking. I've helped with the business team on the website, and this year I was helping a little bit with the scouting that we do during the competition.
The scouting?
The scouting, yes.
Wow.
And I've been doing this for about 11 years. My son was on the team, and he graduated in 2018, and I've stuck around, and they haven't kicked me off yet.
That's fantastic. Okay, well, thank you for doing that. Appreciate it. All right, we're here with Team Lancebot and Team Lance B-Bot. Am I saying the second one correctly? Okay, Lance B-Bot. And we're going to be talking with them for Robotics Roundup today. So tune in, and if you have any questions on the video live stream, please put them in the comments, and we'll ask. The Robotics Roundup is brought to you by Cook Nuclear Power Plant, also by Berrien Springs Public Schools and Lake Michigan College. And we'll be back with that. In fact, we'll start that interview right now on the video live stream. We've got sports on the radio right now with Dave Wolf right here.
The Chicago Cubs are headed home with an 0-2 record after falling to the Dodgers 6-3 on Wednesday, who swept the 2-game Tokyo series. The Cubs now have the week off to get ready for opening.
All right, very good. We're back on the video live stream. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you for tuning in to Robotics Roundup. Again, it's brought to you by Cook Nuclear Power and Lake Michigan College and Berrien Springs Public Schools. And so, Logan, you mentioned you're the sub-team lead for software. Well, first off, let me ask this. You guys, so Team Lancebot, how many members are on the team?
We've currently combining both numbers for Lance A-Bot and Lance B-Bot have around 40 members.
Around 40 members. Okay, that's combined, so 40 members total. And does everyone work on one robot or the other?
So everyone can
go ahead and just bring that, make it comfortable. There you go.
So everyone can work on Lance A-Bot, but only freshmen and sophomores work on Lance B-Bot.
Okay. Okay, so you have to be a junior or a senior to work on Lance A-Bot.
Freshmen and sophomores can work on it, but their primary focus is working on B-Bot. It's just when we need extra help for A-Bot or there's a lot to do, they also will work on that.
Nice. Okay. Why 2 robots? When did that begin?
So that was something that we started in the last year. I think a lot of what we realize, especially as our team grows, it's hard to manage 40 people all working on one project, and especially when people are coming in and out.
Yeah.
And another problem was a lot of the younger members just don't have the same experience. And so it was difficult to get them like engaged when a lot of the juniors and seniors are taking over on what we call Lance A-Bot.
Yeah.
So we created the second team. They make a second robot, and it basically gets the younger, newer members to like have experience building, programming, a simpler version. So then when they are older, they have more experience so they can do better on Lance A-Bot.
That's great. That's fantastic. How? So have all of you worked on Lance B-Bot?
So Lance B-Bot is something that was new to us this year.
Okay.
So we didn't have the opportunity to do that. Niatsi was, I would say, one of the bigger parts of the software team for Lance B-Bot.
Niati, what'd you do?
Well, I mean, a lot of it was just like coding, I guess, the pivot on the robot and just other stuff with the mechanics of the robot.
The pivot on the robot. I don't even know what that means. What does that mean?
So basically, have you seen the game?
I have. I love the game. Yeah.
So you know how there's like these like big blue balls called the algae?
Yep.
To pick that up, we have like a mechanism that goes down. And so you need to code the motors for it to make it go down.
Okay.
And that was probably one of the bigger parts that I've done for the robot. And also the LEDs, which just look super cool.
Yeah, the LEDs do look cool. I have to give you that. Do you also code in like the visual aspects of it?
What do you mean by that?
So the mini QR codes are telling you things, but it doesn't tell you anything unless you tell it to understand something. So how does that work?
I wouldn't say I have the most experience with that, especially this year, considering that Lance B-Bot didn't really use that. But I know Lance A-Bot took advantage of the...
Okay. Makes sense. All right. Well, we'll continue this conversation in just a moment. We're going to get back on the radio after a quick check of the weather forecast, where it's Robotics Roundup with Team Lance A-Bot and Team Lance B-Bot, and their mission is SHIELD. So I'm going to quiz you on that as well. Do you remember what that's all about? I see slight head nodding.
Course.
Okay. All right. We'll be back in just a moment right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
Back up near 50. Our next chance of rain rolls in on Friday night. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
It's the WSJM Morning Show, 7:18 on the first official day of spring. Happy spring to you. It's still snowing outside, and it's going to be chilly today as we get through 34 degrees right now in Benton Harbor, St. Joseph, South Haven, Dowagiac. I see snow all over the radar right now. We're talking with Team Lance A-Bot and Team Lance B-Bot. They're from Lakeshore High School, and they are part of the first robotics team. We have Logan, Cole, Niati, and Doug in the studio. Doug Washington is the team mentor, and the others are team members who have been busy competing. Thank you for taking time away and coming, even taking time away from school and coming in here to the studios to talk with us during Robotics Roundup. Maybe we can pick up on the build and some of the discussion that we were having just a moment ago. But first off, 2 competitions. One in St. Joseph High School, at St. Joseph High School. One at Berrien Springs. Were you at one or both? How did it go?
We were at both. Our first one being at St. Joe, and that one didn't go really as expected. We were anticipating it going a lot better.
Okay, tell us. I mean, what happened in your view?
So a lot of what was happening was our build was pretty rushed, and a lot of the build aspects we didn't get done until very close to the competition happened, and so because of that, there just wasn't a lot of experience with all of the mechanisms for the drivers.
Okay.
So that competition we ended up being about, I think we were 19th in the qualifications out of 40 teams, so about middle of the road. And then we ended up getting the opportunity to play defense for Alliance 3 in the playoffs, and we actually ended up being finalists. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. And when you play defense, explain what that means, because the offense, during the game, for those who have been on the Robotics Roundup, is putting algae in a certain place, putting coral in a certain place. But what does playing defense mean? And what does that look like?
So when you're playing defense, what you're trying to do is just slow down the other team. So
they're 135-pound robots. How do you do that?
You just have to we have a robot that's right at the weight limit. So we were able to be a little bit heavier and have more push than other robots. So robots would go to like the coral station to try to get coral to then score.
Okay.
So what we would do by playing defense was we would block the coral station, so it was hard for them even to get there.
Yeah.
And then once they were there, we would pin them against the wall, slowing them down for a few seconds before then them gain around us to score.
And this is all legal?
Yes.
Is it part of the game? Is it supposed to happen?
They have rules saying that one robot is allowed to go on the other side of the field and play defense.
That's fantastic. And so does the driver get to decide what they're going to do? How do they know where to block?
So do
you all go after do you all go after the striker robot?
That was in the finals kind of our strategy.
Okay.
We have our driver and our drive coach. So our drive coach is watching the field, seeing the other team's cycles. And so then he's talking to our driver saying like this, you need to be in this area to slow him down and stuff. So in the finals, we were against Strikeforce and St. Joe.
Okay.
So we would try to slow down Strikeforce or St. Joe whenever they would go to the one station.
Very nice. Very nice. Worked out well? Well enough?
Yeah, well enough. We were able to make it to the finals. We lost the first one, won the second one in a close score, and then unfortunately lost the third one.
Okay. And so that's St. Joseph. So good on you. You guys, you felt rushed. What happened? Why did you feel rushed in the first competition?
So our design process, we unfortunately, after Christmas break, our school network had gotten hacked.
Oh, no.
And so
I'm looking at the cybersecurity guy over here. Okay.
So we did not have access to our CADing software, SolidWorks. So we had to learn for about a week or two how to use a different software, Onshape. And then once we got our network kind of back, we were able to work on SolidWorks. So that kind of pushed us back. And then with design, it took us a little longer than expected. So we were putting everything together with Build. Build was able to get the robot done in like 2.5 weeks, which isn't a horrible time frame, but with these setbacks, it just left programmers with a lot of like debugging to do with little time.
Okay.
And so with that debugging, we weren't able to get everything how we wanted to for the competition.
Okay. And so when you're talking about the CAD design that you're doing, is this for 3D printing?
Yeah. So we, with our design team, we CAD the entire robot before then building it.
All right.
So CAD allows us, one, to 3D print it, but also see how things are going to interact before we go and build it. It's a very useful tool to see if things are going to hit each other, if the game pieces are going to be in the locations we want them to. So we do that, and then we hand over that CAD to then the build team who puts it all together.
Okay. Thank you for that explanation. Appreciate it. And so how did you do after St. Joe? You went on to Berrien Springs. You had like a week to repair the robot. Did it need any repairs, anything significant?
Not a lot of it needed repairs.
Okay.
We ended up deciding to basically completely redesign our bot.
Oh, wow.
So basically our
With a week till the next competition.
Yeah, it was like a 6-day redesign. We had people at St. Joe like working on the design in CAD, like theorizing how it was going to be, and it was actually pretty nice because we had a bunch of other like very, very good robots such as like St. Joe's that we could look at some ideas of like what we could potentially try to do. So we basically redesigned it in a day or two, built it in a day or two, and then had it completely reprogrammed in a day or two, ready for Berrien, and it ended up being very good for us. We ended up 5th after the qualification matches, so a bit of an improvement.
Yeah,
and then we ended up being the first pick of Alliance 1, so we were like the first overall pick, and we ended up winning the event, which was very awesome considering where we started a week ago.
Yeah, and that you redesigned the robot after week 1.
It was definitely a lot of late nights for a lot of us, but I'm very glad that we could get it done and end up where we were.
Congratulations on that. And now that's Team Lance A bot, Team Lance B bot. How'd you do?
So at the first competition, we ended up in 12th,
Okay.
which is pretty good. We were picked up by an alliance as well. But to compare that to the competition afterward, we ended up in 34th place.
Neati, what happened?
I mean, I guess it's just the way that the competition ended up going down. We didn't make any major changes to be bought. I guess the only thing that was really different was the drive team and maybe some of our alliance partners based on skill and whatnot. But, that's just the way it ended up going. But we were second pick of Alliance 5, and we did win, I think, one match of semifinals.
Wow.
Yeah, one.
So what key learnings did you take from your performance in those two competitions?
Well, I think a big part of just being on Bbot is learning, finally putting your foot into the game, learning how to do all this stuff by yourself, which I can speak from experience because last year I did not get to do as much. And I think that was the entire point of Bbot, is just to learn what you're actually doing instead of just watching it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Learn by doing, because you can only learn so much just by standing and watching. Eventually, you want to get your hands dirty and do stuff in there. Okay, good. All right. So now that you've been through these first two competitions, what's next?
So we currently right now are ranked 9th in the state with 110 points.
You're ranked 9th in the state.
Yes.
Lakeshore, good job.
So there's still a lot of teams that have their second competition to go. So we'll probably drop some places. But with that, we have enough points right now to qualify for state. Usually the cutoff is around 70 to 80 points.
Okay.
So we're in that range that we're good to likely qualify for state. So right now, what we're doing is we're looking at our robot, seeing things that within this time frame, what can we even improve further on with our robot? So we're looking at things like our climb, our intake, just things that can make it that ever bit faster. So at state, we can be an even better robot.
Do you and let me bring Doug Washington into the conversation as team mentor, as you have seen the other robots now in action, I presume. You mentioned something about you do some of the scouting. What does that entail? What are you bringing in to the team?
What we do with that is we have an app that we run on some tablets or the students' phones that allows us to collect key data points as we're watching a match. So you have the 6 robots out on the field. We have 6 kids who are watching a robot, one kid per robot.
Okay.
And they're just collecting all these data points. So during the first part, during autonomous, they're determining whether or not they can drop coral. And then when we get into the teleop, they will watch, again, to see how many algae they may have scored, if they can do X, Y, or Z. And then they'll put notes in there to say that they were a good defender or something like that.
Okay.
We then collect all that data and massage it and, turn it into information that we can consume to help us determine if we're an alliance captain or we're on an alliance, we can use that data to augment what the other teams might have collected as well to say, these 2 robots may be able to do these things, but they can't do defense possibly. So we will have that data that says this robot can do the defense and, suggest that we might want to pick them if we're going into an alliance with them.
Yeah, that would seem like really valuable information to have as you're thinking about alliances and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's big stuff.
Do you do sign stealing as well?
No.
Speaking of the University of Michigan. All right, we've got more to talk about. It's Robotics Roundup. We're talking with Team Lance-A-Bot and Team Lance B-Bot. They are from Lakeshore High School. They're doing well so far, so keep going. We'll keep talking about it here in just a moment on the WSJM Morning Show. Robotics Roundup is brought to you by Cook Nuclear Power Plant, Lake Michigan College, and Berrien Springs Public Schools. I'm Ken Lundberg. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We've got news from Bloomberg, ABC, our local WSJM newsroom, and more coming up in just a moment right here on WSJM.
What would you call a free account that helps you save automatically? Amazing? Incredible?
Okay, good morning and welcome back to the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. How are we doing so far? Is this good?
Pretty good.
Yes.
We're doing all right. You guys are doing great. Thank you very much for giving the stories. Most interesting robotics competition that you've been involved in so far. It doesn't have to be this year. And why?
I would have to say that would be Barron Springs from last year.
What happened?
So Barron Springs hosted their first ever time event last year. So we decided as our second event we'd go to Barron. So it was week 2. It was before St. Joe that year. We went there with our robot. We felt really confident about it.
Yeah.
Last year was crescendo, so involved you picking up these orange rings and then shooting them out. So we liked the game. We thought our robot would do really well. And at Barron Springs, we ended up after quals ranking 3rd.
Okay.
So Alliance 1 selected the second ranked team. So we were then the captain of Alliance 2. We selected, I believe they would have been ranked like 7th after quals, but they were 302, the Dragons.
Okay.
So working, and then on the way back for our second pick, we picked 201, the Feds. What we did then in playoffs was we won our first match, but then we unfortunately lost our second one. And we were able to then fight our way all the way back to the finals. And we had never, at that point, won before. So we never got a blue banner. We'd been finalists countless times, but never been able to get that blue banner. We were going into that match as like the underdogs. When you looked at the data, they were outscoring us based on data, and our chances, I want to say, were like a 40% chance of winning. So we still had a chance, but it wasn't as much as some of the other matches. So we ended up losing the first one because we had something on our robot break. For some reason, we were losing connection to certain parts of our robot. We were able to find out that we had a broken candle. It's the thing that controlled our LEDs.
Oh.
And so that was broken.
The decoration.
Yep.
Okay.
So that being broken was messing up the whole chain of communication to our robot.
Oh, man.
So we were able to then swap that out. And in our second match, due to us being fully operable, we were able to then win that. So the finals are best 2 out of 3. So we had one last match. We were all set for it. One of our teammates had broken a swerve, and so they were driving on 3 wheels for the last match. And so we went to that last match. We were, after autonomous, we were down a good amount, and the match continued. We were at one point, I want to say, down 20 points.
Wow.
But one of the teams on Alliance 1, they ended up breaking down. Their intake broke, and so they couldn't do any like pickup and scoring. We also broke a swerve during that game, so we're kind of just dragging around really slow.
Wow, you guys are hard on robots.
And then another one of the Alliance One's bots broke down, and so at the end of the match, we're all crawling around the field trying to get the last points in end game. And the score was really close. And so then this is my favorite moment ever of robotics is I was on the drive team and we all huddled together looking at the score, doing the math in our heads, knowing it's a close game, and then that score showing that we had won. I don't think I've heard a crowd ever louder. It was our first ever blue banner. We'd won at Barron, which was the first time that event had ever been hosted, and so it was just a crazy experience to have.
That's
there.
great. Oh, congratulations. That's fun. I can envision the robots limping along like Terminator after it's been blown up. Yeah, just like that. Speaking of the games, I mean, Crescendo versus, what's this one called? Reefscape? Yeah. Which one's tougher?
I mean, I think this is pretty opinion-based, but
Okay.
I definitely think that Reefscape's a lot harder of a game. Crescendo was what's called a shooter game, so
Yeah.
it's you're like launching the game pieces into a specific thing. And then this year it's more of a pick and place game, so you have to grab the game pieces and place them. So with this game, you're putting like essentially these little PVC pipes onto these like
rods.
posts.
Yeah.
And really you don't have very much margin for error when you're scoring, so I'd find that a lot more difficult to, design something that's capable of placing it, on a bunch of different heights and levels, and then, being accurate with it.
Yeah. Okay. Hold that thought. We'll be back with more in just a moment. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We've got to get some more news in, and we'll be back with more Robotics Roundup.
Bloomberg Radio.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
And good morning once again. Welcome. It's 7:36. It's the WSJM Morning Show with Ken and Friends. I'm Ken. My friends are Team Lance A-Bot and Team Lance B-Bot this morning. We're doing Robotics Roundup, and it's brought to you by Cook Nuclear, by Berrien Springs Public Schools, and Lake Michigan College, and we'll continue that conversation in just a moment. Got to get some more news things in here for right now, and weather. In fact, still some snowfall in some areas out there. Today's forecast does call for cloudy skies, 80% chance of snow, and we are seeing snow pretty much all over the region right now. Windy conditions. The high is going to be around 37 degrees, but it's going to feel colder. So, for instance, right now in Benton Harbor, it's 34 degrees on the thermometer, but the feels-like temperature, largely because of the wind, is 15 degrees. So bundle up as you go outside. The wind is going to continue tonight. We're going to have mostly clear skies, cold temperatures, a low around 27. Northwest to southwest winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. And then Friday's forecast tomorrow, we're going to bring the sun back out, a high around 53 degrees with winds gusting up to 30 miles per hour, and a chance of rain Friday night. The weekend forecast doesn't look a whole lot different, mostly cloudy both Saturday and Sunday. Chance of rain or snow on Saturday, then becoming partly cloudy, a high around 37, high of 47 degrees on Sunday. More news coming up in just a moment right here on WSJM.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. A crazy night and day of weather across much of the country. ABC meteorologist Greg Dutra outlined some of it.
In Nebraska, blizzard conditions leaving roads covered in slick black ice. Cars and tractor trailers spinning out, ending up on the side of the road. Dry and windy conditions leading to wildfires. 38 fires broke out in Arkansas. In Texas, a wildfire burning through Sam Houston National Forest, prompting evacuations.
Hundreds of thousands of people are without power this morning. It'll take an act of Congress for it to actually happen, but President Trump is planning to sign an executive order today, shutting down the U.S. Department of Education. In Colorado, teachers are off the job today, protesting cuts and state support there. The Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry says Israeli airstrikes overnight have killed at least 85 people. The renewed fighting sparked this week. Israel says it's the fault of Hamas for not going along with their plans to extend phase 1 of the ceasefire. This is ABC News.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
7:38, WSJM Morning Show continues. Good morning, I'm Ken Lundberg. Some of the news that we'll be covering at 8 o'clock this morning from the WSJM Newsroom. The Out Center of Southwest Michigan has filed a Freedom of Information Act request with the city of Benton Harbor to obtain records related to the denial of their 2025 Pride Fest permit application. We'll talk a little bit more about that. That's coming up at 8 o'clock. The city of St. Joseph is going to be getting a cybersecurity audit. At their regular meeting this week, they talked about a contract to take a look at not only the city infrastructure for IT, but also for the water plant. We'll tell you how much that's going to cost. That's coming up at 8 o'clock. And it might not feel like it this morning, but today is the first official day of spring. And given some of the warm days we've had recently, we know tourist season is just around the corner. We'll tell you how Berrien County Parks Department is getting ready for the influx of visitors. That's all coming up at 8 o'clock this morning during the WSJM newscast. It's 7:39. We've got more to talk about. We've got sports with Dave Wolf. That's coming up in just a moment. We'll get the latest state news from Michigan News Network on our video live stream on YouTube and on Facebook. We're going to continue our conversation. Robotics Roundup, brought to you by Cook Nuclear, Lake Michigan College, and Berrien Springs Public Schools, right here on WSJM.
The Michigan News Network.
I'm Beth Fisher. It's the first day of spring, but there are weather advisories and some.
Okay, good morning and welcome back to the video live stream. All right, SHIELD is your mission. We're talking with Lakeshore High School, Team Lance A-Bot and Team Lance B-Bot. Who wants to tell us what the mission SHIELD means for your team?
Yeah. So SHIELD is an acronym, It means student, human, innovation, education, leadership, and discovery.
Nice.
And so what SHIELD is it's basically just what we strive to do as a robotics team. We're trying to get students involved with the team. Like, our team is all student-led. Mentors are there, of course, to help us with some decisions, help us learn things. But any decision we make as a team. Our whole goal is to have a robot that we can look at and say, hey, every part of that robot was either designed, built, or programmed by one of our students. And then we want to be able to have an environment where students are able to then learn these skills, have the opportunity to grow in a broad range of skills to then apply those later on in life.
Wow. Very well said. Thank you very much. And part of the team atmosphere is inclusiveness, and that includes having both male and female participation. Niati, how many females are on the team?
So right now there's 8, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's actually quite a bit compared to the other years.
We were talking off air. You seem very proud of it. You did a fist bump in the air when we were talking about it.
It's just, especially from like my background. So when I've done robotics before, oftentimes there would only be like, I remember during elementary school, I was basically the only girl on the team. In middle school, there's probably 2 other girls, and that's not very many.
That's low participation.
For sure. Compared to like how many people are actually on our team right now, around 20% of the team right now is girls of like Lance A-Bot. And I think that's just like a really, really good thing because I don't know why, but a lot of girls, they're just like held back from doing stuff like this, even though it's amazing. It's like a great experience.
Yeah, what your experience? When did you first discover your interest in robotics and coding and such?
Well, really, I mean, I guess it started in elementary school. So I had recently just moved over from Minnesota, and I just wanted something to do. So where I moved is like a very tight-knit community, basically. Everyone knew everyone. So I just wanted something to do where I would be able to make friends. And I remember that during elementary school, like I was in one of my classes, and these kids came around with the robot that they had from like a year ago or something, and it looked so cool. And like as a kid, if something looks cool, you want to do it.
Yeah.
So that's what I ended up doing, and I'm so grateful that I did because now I have a bunch of new skills that I'll be able to use hopefully throughout my life. I also met so many people that I really appreciate for teaching me a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Do you do robotics stuff outside of this team?
I mean, I guess something I would do outside is like even just like my education. First off, the biggest thing that I've learned from robotics is like talking with other people and like cooperating with other people. And that's something that I will just use in my normal life.
Okay.
And I guess even from the coding aspect of it, I take a computer science class, and I suppose that helps me out.
Yeah. Great. Thank you for sharing that. Appreciate that. What about you, gentlemen?
So with robotics, it's definitely like helped me out with the skills. I'd originally going into high school looked into going into computer science, but then with robotics, I ended up joining the build team. I also help out a little bit of the design, and because of that, now I'm looking at going actually into mechanical engineering. Robotics has given me that opportunity to learn things with like CAD and build that now. Like there's things that I'll do at home where I'll CAD just a part, print it out, and then I'll be able to assemble it to then use basically for anything.
Nice. Have you CAD'd any DIY home improvements for the home?
Not really home improvements, but like little decorations here and there. I've CAD'd out and then printed.
Very good. Logan, how about you?
Yeah, I would say robotics especially has changed, what I want to do as like for college or for a career. I know when I came into school freshman year, I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. I knew something STEM related, but I don't think it was like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And I think being part of this team and being part of, doing a lot of the software for the team has really like solidified for me that I want to do computer science. And I think that is really like being a part of FIRST has really like changed that for me.
Yeah.
Because it really, gave me a good direction and like example of like this is what you can do, and like here's a lot of opportunities that you have in those fields. So.
Yeah. Wow. Financial aspects of being involved in FIRST, has that been a concern or at least a consideration for any of you?
So, I mean, a lot of running the teams obviously is pretty expensive. It's a lot of parts, a lot of stuff. And for that, we have to thank a lot of our sponsors.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I think a lot of our help comes from a lot of different things in the community, but like LEF helps us a lot, the Lakeshore Lions Club. We also, get some help from like Whirlpool, Lico. They definitely help us out a lot, to like keep our team going and be successful because we could not do any of this without, some of their support. So
nice. Thank you.
Yeah, and then there's other sponsors like Tigmaster that will make things for us. Like they for free will machine parts out for us that then allow us to, of course, work on those on the robot. But like Logan mentioned, all those sponsors, other sponsors like AEE, and then trying to think of some. We've got a lot of sponsors that are helping out, and we're fortunate enough to have a marketing sub team that every week is reaching out to different companies for sponsorships, updating our current sponsors about how the robot's doing, what we're working on that week, and we're just a very fortunate team to be able to have these sponsors.
That's great. Anything to add on that, Edie? Okay.
No.
Are any of you involved in the Impact team as well? What's what's the role there?
So we currently do not apply for the Impact Award.
Okay.
A lot of teams like St. Joe do. It's something we will potentially look at doing. But coming in, like my freshman year, we had very few members on the team. I want to say we were only in like the 20s.
Okay.
Last year, it grew a lot, so we were trying to manage that. This year, we were trying to learn and manage how to do the 2-team system.
Okay.
And so we've got a lot that we're doing and trying to balance all the 2 robots and stuff. We don't have the most amount of resources to work towards impact.
Yeah, you guys are making a huge impact, so I would encourage you to form that as you continue to grow, because you're inspiring me. I love the way it's changed your lives and your direction on what you want to study and how you interact, not only with the technology skills, but the leadership skills as well. All right, we're going to continue talking about this, and I will ask you about transitioning from working on just one robot last year to working on 2 and how that's working and cheering for 2 robots. I'll ask you about that in a moment. Doug, you're not off the hook. I'm going to ask you some about the important role of a mentor, and so we'll get that in just a moment right here on the WSJM Morning Show, so stay tuned.
Especially closer to the lakeshore. High temperatures at 37, but wind chills will be near 20 most of the day. Tonight we clear out, we drop down to 27, and tomorrow back to some sunshine, high temperatures back up near 50. Our next chance of rain rolls in on Friday night. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
It's 7:48. WSJM Morning Show continues. Thanks for coming along with us. We've been covering Robotics Roundup on our video live stream. If you miss any part of that, you can go back and listen to it or watch it. We've got the whole video that's going to be archived on our Facebook and on our YouTube page. All you do is you go to your social media platform of choice, type in WSJM and look for our videos, and it'll be right there. And it's 33 degrees in Benton Harbor right now, snowing. It feels like 15 degrees out there. So one more last kiss from weather, winter weather, before the spring hits. Well, actually, it is officially spring today, but we're here talking with Team Lance A-Bot and Team Lance B-Bot, the members of that team. They didn't bring the actual robot in, did you? Did you bring the actual robot in? You did not bring it in.
No, we didn't. Sorry
okay,
about
that's
that.
fine. I will ask in advance for the next team to bring their robot in. That'd be kind of cool. So yours is at weight limit, 135 pounds?
Right now, with the weight limit without bumpers is 115. And
Okay.
then we were sitting right at 114.
Oh, okay.
And so then you can be 135 with bumpers. Our bumpers are 15 pounds. So we don't
You
have
took it
much
right up
weight
to the
work
limit.
with. Yeah.
Are your bumpers made out of like barbell weights and that kind of thing?
No, we just have.
Do you think about that? You could do that.
Yeah, what we're looking at doing is actually adding some weights to our bumpers to help balance our climb. But it's just with all of the padding we have and the backing, it just adds up.
Okay. Can you put a table saw on there, a blade or anything? Take some of the other... when you look at, just out of curiosity, so I watched the St. Joseph competition, And I see all the robots out there. They're all doing amazing things, and it's really cool to see how each team envisions and designs the different ways to meet the competition, the games of the competition, picking things up, putting them in certain places, being very accurate and precise as you can, and then also the defense is fun to watch as well. But as I was seeing all the robots, I looked at Stryker's robot, and that thing, it looks like an industrial designed robot and machine. I'm not casting any shade or anything like that, but I'm just saying it looks like it was professionally designed and done. When you see a robot like that, what does that do for you as a team?
I mean, I would say it definitely points us in a direction further of what improvements can we make, because a lot of what I think we've discovered is that we can do really good at our week 1, week 2 district events, and then once we get to state, oftentimes we don't make the necessary improvements to our bot, and we sort of fall behind in that curve, because I would say first, the competition aspect of this is a lot of once you're done, you can't really be done. You got to continue to iterate and improve and re-engineer your bot to make it better and better for the further levels of competition.
Yeah.
So I think a very nice thing to have is be able to look back on previous year's designs, your designs, other teams' designs, and say what aspects can we maybe take into our bot and re-implement to fit our systems better.
So very much a continuous improvement mindset. There are no solutions, only countermeasures until we reach the next challenge.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. All right. Very good. Let's see. We talked a little bit about the transformation of your A-bot from week 2 to week 3. You kind of redesigned the whole robot, and you did amazing in Berrien Springs. How about transitioning from being a team that works on just one robot last year to working on 2 robots this year? What has that been like?
Having one robot instead of 2 definitely puts a lot more workload on the student leads and definitely mentors as well, trying to balance those 2. But what the student leads took into this year is instead of just managing their sub team, they're looking at both robots, seeing tasks that need to be done for both robots, making sure people are working on those things, and then helping out when a task is done, basically saying hey, great that we did this. This is the next step in improving the robot and doing that. So it's a lot more with the students having to focus on delegating tasks and making sure work's always being done. But it's been a huge thing for just getting hands-on experience and stuff. And I think Nia T can probably talk more about that.
Yeah, Nia T, you already indicated this. Is it better to have the 2 robots?
I would say probably. Last year, I was lucky enough that I actually did get to take, I would say, pretty big part for a freshman in helping code the A-bot, the main bot, because
Yeah.
we had one. But this year especially, I think a lot of the freshmen too, they've actually gotten to do stuff and be more hands-on with everything, which I think is just going to prepare them more for junior and senior year.
Double the number of robots. Does that double the cost as well?
First is we're fortunate enough that first if you create a rookie team, they will give you for the first couple of years some aid.
Okay.
So the cost didn't really increase much to have that second team. As the years go by, it will increase the cost, but with our marketing, what they've been able to go out and receive from sponsors, we should be able to continue supporting the second team. And then B-Bot, something that we say even before the season starts, is that B-Bot does not go to state. State and then going on to Worlds is our primary cost for travel.
Yeah.
We're fortunate enough to have Berrien and St. Joe district events close to home, so we don't have to travel for those. But then going to state and Saginaw Valley, that is a large cost. So for those, we are going to only be taking Lance A-Bot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Well, congratulations on success so far and splitting the 2 teams and giving more people a hands-on experience there. It's fantastic. I love the way that you're thinking about it. As a team mentor, Doug, tell us a little bit about your role and what you've seen in your years from the time that you've had a son in the program itself till now.
Yeah, the program itself has really matured. When we look back at the robots we had, 10, 11 years ago, they're not nearly as professional as what we have now. So there's that growth from a technology standpoint, but every year or every 4 years, I guess, I see growth in the kids. And that's part of the biggest thing for me is when I see a freshman come in, they may not know what they want to do. They may have lack of focus or something along those lines. But I see so many of these kids who mature over those years. They've gained skills, they've gained leadership, and that just is the biggest thing for me, and I guess why I do this, of seeing that growth in the kids. And I would recommend anybody go out and do this. You know, you may not think you have an ability that's applicable for a team, but we have so many facets. You know, you've got the technical aspect, sure, but you've got the business side. You've got the data analysis that we have to do for the scouting, all those types of things. And it's just, I mean, it's good for anybody to do that stuff.
That's excellent. All right, we've been talking with Team Lance A-Bot and Team Lance B-Bot. They are from Lakeshore High School, and they're part of the First Robotics. And it sounds like you're going on to state when you've got enough points, it seems like. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for that. Where's state this year?
State's at Saginaw Valley State University.
Okay.
And it'll be like a 3-day event over there.
Okay, and if you do well there, then the next step is Worlds, which is what, down in Houston?
Yeah, Houston, Texas.
Will you drive there?
We last year we took a charter bus or a Cardinal bus.
Okay.
And that was an experience.
Oh boy.
You can imagine like, 16, 18 hours in a bus. I mean, it's a nice bus, but it's still a bus.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. That's fun. All right. Well, do well. Keep doing well. And thank you for coming in today and sharing your information. We appreciate you. We've got a couple of messages to get to, but this is Team Lance A-Bot and Team Lance B-Bot from Lakeshore High School. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet. It's part of Robotics Roundup, and it's brought to you by Cook Nuclear Power Plant, Lake Michigan College, and Berrien Springs Public Schools. You can catch it on our video live stream. It's on Facebook. You can watch the archive on YouTube as well. Just go to WSJM and check it out right there. All right, we've got news from ABC coming up in just a moment right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
Hey, you got any gum? Yeah, check my backpack. What's this? Oh, that's naloxone. It can reverse an opioid overdose. I decided